Yes, girlypops. It's Finny. I'm back to react to another Amberlynn Reid video. This one was uploaded today called Responding to Alexis, My Sexuality, and Weight Watchers Weigh In #1 Sparkly Emoji Vlog. Oh boy. Again with Alexis' irrelevant ass. Her sexuality, whatever. She like flip flops on whether she's attracted to men or not constantly and has for a while now. And it's really none of my business, but it is a little funny when she's like 10 toes down, like, I'm a lesbian, I'm the biggest lesbian, and all this stuff. And then is like, well, actually, hold on a second. But again, like I said, people's sexuality are their sexuality, and I am really not going to judge someone for changing or evolving or whatever. And Weight Watchers, great. Can't wait to go another round with that failure. Anyways, let's jump into it.
Hello. So it is February 27th, and I'm going to start this vlog with Thursday.
Sorry, I always forget. Gotta put her on faster.
Weight Watchers weigh-in day. So I weighed in today at 5:13, so I'm going to put that here. So I gained 2 pounds in the last like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. So with Weight Watchers, that gives me 78 daily points, but you can get 4 rollover points for the next day if you have at least 4 of your daily points
I know, she's like, honestly, I know her brain because, again, my brain works somewhat similarly when it comes to food, not in the same, like, extreme fashion for that she does, but my first thought was, ooh, if I could get rollover points, I could eat more. Like, because that's just how the stupid brain works. But honestly, 78 points is so much. And I did Weight Watchers back in like high school, which I know is insane to think about, like a 15-year-old doing it. But there used to be so many things. And back when Amber did it, like for the, I don't know, like 69th time, like she had many options that were 0 points. And she just never ate them because they weren't absolutely covered in salt or in a brine of some sort. So I think that's part of the failure, because you can really like, you can eat a lot of like vegetables and stuff or fibrous things and have it be like filling or as a snack and not eat into those points. But whatever, here we go again with Weight Watchers. I'm sure this is going to be a really fascinating journey that we haven't seen at least 345 times before.
So that will be added on to the weekly points, which you get 28 of those. So I'm going to try my very hardest to only do Thursday weigh-ins. For sure, for you guys, but I'm talking about in my own personal life, I'm going to try very hard not to privately step on that scale. When I'm on track and I'm doing a diet,
she is absolutely gonna fail at that, because I think it's a control thing for her. She has control over weighing herself, and I think it's also a feeling of she needs to have that control to see, like, where am I? Am I like at this point or at a different point or whatever, which I believe her therapist said was somewhat detrimental. And I completely agree with that. It is detrimental if you're trying to lose weight and you step on the scale every day, because this is not, I mean, at her size, yes, she could lose daily, but it, for people who are smaller sizes, you won't see those bigger losses until like a week or 2 weeks. It's, yeah, so doing daily is bad for the mentals.
like I love to step on that scale daily, sometimes multiple times a day. I have done that, but I really want to focus on stepping on it once a week on Thursday, and I want to lose a couple pounds a week. This is not me trying to lose 14 pounds in a week. Absolutely not.
But you should be. You should be losing that much. And if she stuck to Weight Watchers or a calorie deficit, because her calorie deficit would be insane. She pretends like she eats only like 2,600, which is still like technically too much, but she pretends like she only eats 2,600 calories in a day. And there is absolutely no way, because if she did eat that much, then she would be dropping weight, but she's not. And I know on semaglutide, you would eat even less than that. You would eat maybe like 15 to 1700 calories, depending on the meal you ate, or if you were even able to eat. Because some of those days were rough. Like when I was on Wegovy, they were rough to try and make myself eat. But she should be losing much more, much quicker. But she just has this warped idea that it's like, oh, if I lose too much too fast, it's a bad thing. It's not. Well, my cat found something interesting to play with. She's so bored with Amber. She's like, let me just play with whatever the hell is on this table.
We see that does not work for me. So I want to do slow and steady. And by doing steady, it's going to continue on. I'm going to keep losing weight because when I do it fast, like losing 14 pounds, 10 pounds a week, I lose like a good 20, 25 pounds and then I gain it all back. It's a vicious cycle and I'm tired of it. All right, you guys, so I wanted to give you daily updates on my progress on this build because it is insane. I am on step 60 and this is how it is looking. This is by far the most difficult thing I have ever built, but just look at all that detail. It's crazy. So yeah, this is day 2. All right, you guys, so I hate that I have to talk about this, but like, I'm going to. I need to like clear the air, give some explanation. Lately, with what's been going on, if I did this for every scenario that is being said, that's all my channel would be. And I don't want that. I am letting people say whatever they want, whether it's a lie, whether it's exaggeration. I don't care at all.
That's such a lie. Girl, you a lie. Like, that is so ridiculous for her to say that she doesn't care, she's letting it go. She cares so profoundly at what people say about her. Like, if she didn't, then she wouldn't respond ever to what people are saying. I mean, unless it's like an extremely heinous allegation, like, being a PDF file, which strangely enough, she like doesn't really talk about, which I would be, no way. There is no, my response, I would have been on that so fast, being like, how dare you say that stuff about me? But she just kind of, all right. Filming with an animal is very hard. I respect the ankle and Goo very deeply because Goo is well behaved. Jinxy, my cat, is trying her very best to have me pay attention to her because she has terrible FOMO. Anyway, like I was saying, Amber cares so deeply about what others say. It's why she's always on the necks of reaction channels, being like in their chats, in their videos, like all that stuff. And it's also why she responds so much to like Alexis and to Beck, but Beck's are like harsher because it's a little bit hard to defend Amber in any way, shape, or form with the allegations that Beck has made. But like Alexis, Amber, you do not have to respond to Alexis. Let me tell you what, she's you light. She is just you like 2.0. She's absolutely irrelevant. At first I was like, oh, well, this is interesting because she has some insight and insider information as to what it's like to be Amberlynn's friend. And then she went back to Amberlynn, and then they stopped being friends again. Like, who cares? You know what? She's nasty. She's a nasty girl, and you don't have to respond to her. Like, whatever. Alexis, you suck. Like, this is out to you. You suck, and I don't like you.
For me, but like it is what it is. But like this whole Alexis Dalton thing is like not okay. And I'm mentioning it and bringing it up because Alexis straight up doxed somebody, and that is just like,
this is one of, oh my god, I didn't think we'd get this. This is one of the very few times that, hello Jinxy, this is one of the very few times where I will agree with Amberlynn. Alexis straight up just showed a picture of a guy and it gave his name and stuff and shared private information or like private DMs and whatever. That was so not okay. What, for tea? Like, who fucking cares, Alexis? Honestly, this is like the one time that I do agree with Amber. Like, that was so, like, just stupid. This is why I don't like her, because she just does stuff to get attention, and it's so dumb. That's not okay.
So uncalled for. So here is a mini storytime slash explanation slash how I feel. I was doing my live stream and people were like, oh, Dalton, Dalton, Dalton. And I was so confused. I thought maybe it was something Alexis like brought up months ago, just like in passing, and people were just now bringing it up. But no, while I was live streaming, Alexis uploaded a whole ass video. And in that video, she's talking about something that literally has nothing to do with anything at all. Like, she's bringing up a situation that I had with someone during like a vulnerable time in my life and using that as like tea, or I don't know what she's doing, but it's just like genuinely all around creepy. Alexis has lied a lot in her videos and people eat that shit up because they love the tea of it all.
You know, I don't know if Alexis is lying or exaggerating or telling the truth. I really don't. I think that for a lot of things, she's telling the truth. I'm so sorry. She was very talkative tonight. I think that for the most part, she's truthful in what she's saying, but I think that she just does stuff, and perhaps this is like part of her BPD because Amberlynn was like her person and now they're not, and perhaps it's also because Amberlynn didn't want to date her. I don't know. It's interesting. I think she goes really hard and really low, and she doesn't care who else gets caught in the crossfire. So, like, this guy that Amber was communicating with or whatever, like, yeah, okay. If you want to talk about it or whatever, which I think is nasty too, to kind of talk about someone else's sexuality, it's just there was no reason to talk about him and bring up details. You could have just spoken about Amber and her behaviors.
Amberlynn equals bad. Everyone who spills tea on Amberlynn equals just like amazing. I feel like sometimes people even are like, oh, I know this is a lie, but it's too good, so let's just like hang on to it and like keep it as a narrative. So in this video where she talks about Dalton, she also talked about me being diagnosed with BPD. She said I was never diagnosed, and that's funny to me because me and Alexis actually bonded over the fact that we were both diagnosed with BPD. We would literally.
But I still like, this is sort of along the lines of like sexuality and mental health stuff and these things where questioning them, or like disabilities, questioning them is borderline weird. But Amberlynn has lied so much, it's just like in her blood to lie. So I still don't know where this BPD stuff came from, and I know that there have been many, many, many people in the comments and in other live streams who say that they have been diagnosed themselves, and she is absolutely nothing like what the criteria is for it, or she acts nothing like them, or doesn't really fit in with that diagnosis. I don't know. I'm not a professional and she's not my patient. But I think she has said before that, like, she looks up a lot of stuff on Chat GPD, which is where Chat BPD came from. So
talk about it ad nauseum, just like constant. So this is more proof for me that she's not out to like share her story. She's not out for the truth. She's definitely just out for vengeance. Vengeance over what? I don't know. Like, in every video that she has uploaded, there has been multiple just like lies and exaggerations, like all scattered within. But this whole Dalton thing, it definitely did happen. But people are so obsessed with like the concept of like, ooh, Alexis is spilling tea, or ooh, Amberlynn's not a lesbian, she's actually bisexual. But people are like missing the fact that she literally doxed someone innocent. She showed his face, like a video. And not only that, but like there are reaction channels now using that video and using his name. And
yeah, you know, like I said, with this one thing, I agree. Like, don't, this guy didn't ask to be out there. He didn't ask to have his video put out there. He didn't ask to have his name put out there. And Alexis just went ahead and did that because she's angry with Amberlynn for dumping her as a friend and not reciprocating the feelings she had. That's really what it is. Amber, there's your answer. Alexis is mad at you because you chose Emily over her and you chose Erica over her. And whilst I understand some of the frustrations that Alexis had, especially with the friendship and where Amber would just like not, she would like disappear and not talk to her. And then all of a sudden it was like, here's my problems. Like, be my free therapist. I understand that sucks a lot. And I don't necessarily blame Alexis for wanting to come on here and tell her side of the story or be like, Amberlynn's not who you think she is. I know because I was friends with her, whatever. I wouldn't blame her for that because, you know, we see it with Amber's exes doing this. It's fine. Like, if you want to come out and tell your side of the story, that's fine. But don't drag other unwilling participants in it, especially if you're just looking to like get revenge on someone, because I do genuinely think Alexis is not doing this because she is a champion for LGBTQIA plus and she's like, look at the faker in here, which is gross anyway. But and I don't think she's doing this to be transparent about what happened in their friendship, like what Beck and Destiny and Casey are doing, where they're openly speaking about their experiences being in a relationship with Amber. I think Alexis is doing this for money, clout, and to get back at Amber. So, you know, like I said, if this was just about her experiences, that would be one thing, but she is dragging people into it.
Just like continuing the doxing. Like it's just very inappropriate and it's wrong. And I don't know why people are like standing by that. I've always had people questioning my sexuality. I think it's weird. But to have like thousands and thousands of people do that, like makes it even more weird. And I'm just like, bro, when I say I'm a lesbian, like I actually mean that. People think I'm a lesbian because they think that men don't want me. They do. They very much do. I just don't want them. No offense. 2023 was a crazy year for me. When I first moved into this apartment, like October of 2023, November of 2023, and December of 2023, that was like those 3 months were bad for me. Like I shared a little bit of that in vlogs, but you guys honestly didn't even know the half of it. I shared that I was turning to alcohol because I genuinely was. I was getting drunk like every single night. Like sometimes I would get so drunk that I'd wake up the next morning. I would feel absolutely awful.
That's crazy and really bad because I guarantee you that Amberlynn has, she probably has NAFLD and, you know, probably steatohepatitis. And that's not saying she has hepatitis. Like, just so you guys know, hepatitis just means inflammation of the liver. Hepa is liver, titus is inflammation. Well, itis, I should say. So, hepatitis is inflammation of the liver. I'm not saying she has like hep A, B, or C. Steatohepatitis has to do with fatty liver. It's like a next step up. But at her size and with what she eats and all of that, I would think she has something like that. So to add binge drinking and like daily binge drinking on it, that is asking for trouble. Also, another thing on top of that is that she is in a family of addicts, which means she is genetically predispositioned to have an addiction problem. And we see she has an addiction problem because she is a food addict. So having all of those things together, it is very, very serious and very, it is a concern. She, like, I'm glad and I hope that she is no longer drinking like that, especially around Mama Lynn, who is a recovering addict. I can say myself, I went through a very, very hard period of time when I was a bit younger, and I was drinking really heavily. And this was like in my early 20s. And I know everyone's like, oh, everyone drinks. No, 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 no. I could drink a scotch glass of 151. That's how bad it got. Uh, I was drinking very heavily, and it is such a bad idea to get into that, especially as a coping mechanism. So I really, really, truly hope that she is not doing that anymore.
And I wouldn't remember much from the night prior. So that's why when I told myself I need to stop drinking alcohol and I was actually able to do that, it like put some relief in me because I was really scared because like I was being reliant on it, but I was like, I have an addictive personality. I come from like a family of addicts. I was like, I cannot be an alcoholic right now. Thankfully, when I told myself I'm gonna stop drinking and for how long I want to stop drinking, like I was able to do it cold turkey. Like I was totally fine. But it didn't take away the fact that I was becoming reliant on it. Like I was depressed, heartbroken, lonely. I was living in a new state by myself for the first time in my life. Like I was going through a lot.
That is crazy to think about. That this is like the first time in her life that she has been on her own. And now, like, don't get me wrong, I had a very short period of time where I lived on my own before my husband moved in. Um, I was only alone for like a little while, and then my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, he moved in, then we got engaged, then we got married, like, so it's a little different, but it's crazy to think that she has never been alone. She has always had a partner with her, like, and not a consistent partner, but like different partners. She has always moved in with them or had them move in with her. That's crazy.
And I felt myself turning to people and to situations and things I normally wouldn't have. I get a lot of men reaching out to me in my DMs. This isn't to flex. This isn't anything weird like that. This is just me stating like a fact. And I never reply to them, obviously, because I'm not interested. But
That's because men are weird. Like, sorry. Let me, oh, the generalization. Sorry, I'm married to a man. So, whatever. But men are weird. And I guarantee you that there are men in her DMs. Do I think she gets approached by men all the time and in like every outing that she goes to? No, I do not think so. Um, Perhaps there have been a couple of times. We've all had a couple of times, but I do not think it's at the frequency she says. But the DMs, I believe it because I've had people in my DMs where I was like, all right, no, thank you. Go away. Yucky. Blech. But, yeah, continuing on.
in 2023, during that phase of where I was just like going through a lot, I did reply to Dalton. He was really sweet and kind, and he was making me feel good about myself where I felt bad. He was a friend of mine, but there was some flirty stuff. And yeah, it felt weird to me, and I would engage in it a little bit, but he genuinely was so sweet, and he's super attractive. So it kind of made it like easier for me to like engage in these things. One night, I got extremely drunk, and he ended up calling me, and things went to a different level than they probably would have if I was sober. Like, I feel awful saying that out loud, and I hate that Alexis like shared my voice memo.
I do feel bad about that. I won't lie. I If she was truly in like an altered state of mind, which back then we know she was drinking like crazy, I do feel I have some empathy for her with that because you know, I know people, and I think this is true to an extent where people say that like being drunk just kind of puts a magnifying glass on who you really are. But sometimes when you're in that super drunken state, it really doesn't. You are in an altered mental state. It's like saying someone who's on drugs, well, that's just who they are as a person, and it's not. So I think if she really, sorry, this is like sort of hard to talk about because I've struggled with my own like my own journey. I don't drink anymore. I am sober. I am completely sober. I have been since my birthday in November, so it's been a while. It's been like 5 months. And I'm really proud of that fact. But like I said, when I was younger, I was going through a very, very, very terrible time. And just knowing that I had to use alcohol to cope really sucks. And hearing her say that she went through this situation where she was like so drunk, and this guy was talking to her, and it led to a more explicit telephone conversation. And then it got leaked. I find that to be very much stepping over a line. Unless this guy was a minor, or, unless this guy was pressured into this, I think that is completely wrong for that to be shared. I think that's wrong.
But didn't share her voice memos, might I add. I did notice that, and I know a lot of people also did as well. But in my voice memos, like, you can literally hear me say, like, wasn't my finest moment. I was really drunk. I was sad, etc., etc. I guess I just wanted to feel something other than like the sadness and the depression I was going through in that moment. Plus, I was really drunk. My brain was not fully there. When people get drunk like that, sometimes they make decisions that they normally wouldn't. I don't regret it though, like at all. Like, Dalton is genuinely such a great person, and I hate that he has been dragged into this. I think it's very, very weird to me. Alexis using this situation and this person, like, it's not tea, it's cruel. Like, I almost don't even see the point. Like, she tried to like dot the I's and cross the T's in her video to like make it make sense of why she's talking about it, but really she just wants to like air out all my stuff. But I'm sorry, sexuality can be and is fluid, but I am a lesbian. But whether I was straight or bisexual, it doesn't even matter. I am who I am. Turning a vulnerable night for me, where I was in a vulnerable state and I made a decision that I normally wouldn't have, turning that into a like way to monetize something that should not be monetized is crazy work. And it shows what kind of a person she is. And I just want to say this.
I really didn't think I'd agree with her on anything, but like, and now I'm not, listen, none of this changes my opinions or my thoughts and feelings on Amberlynn. I still think she's rotten. I think she's gutted to the core. I think she is a gross human. And just because I feel empathetic for this certain situation doesn't mean that I think she is this poor, victimized human who has just struggled her entire life and everyone is out to get her, and poor Amber this, poor Amber that. I don't feel that way. I feel that she has really made her situation into what it is because of the behaviors she has chosen to display and the abuse and trauma that she has inflicted upon ex-partners. So I don't feel bad for her in that sense, but I do feel bad for her in this situation. And I feel really bad for the guy who never asked to be involved in this. He, whether you want to be like, well, who doesn't know about Amberlynn, and he should have seen her videos and should have seen all the drama that surrounds her. Okay, fine. Whatever. Yeah, you see all of that shit, but you're still not asking to be put out on the internet, have your private moments used as tea on the internet. That's unfair. And it wasn't like he was in a relationship. This is like a one-off thing that occurred. So truly, this is not it.
If I wasn't a lesbian, Dalton would have been it. Like, Dalton would have been it. Like, sweet, attractive, attentive, kind, nice home, nice car, good job, like the whole nine. But it didn't feel right to me. In my gut, it did not feel right to me. And I'm actually grateful for that experience. And I'm grateful that it was with someone like him. It's not a time I'm ashamed of or anything like that. But to have that story be used by my ex-best friend is crazy to me. All while knowing that, like, I'm not saying anything personal about her. I know so many personal things about her. Spoke daily for hours at a time.
Oh, once again, the threat of, I know so much about you, but I'm not gonna. Okay, perhaps for the personal things, don't say it. But also, like, this is ridiculous. Like, either say the shit you want to say or don't, but stop threatening it and holding it over people's heads. Not that I particularly care about Alexis's head having this held over it, but I think you should really stop with that nonsense.
I have not said anything personal about this woman. A lot of the things that Alexis has been sharing about me hasn't been her story to tell whatsoever. Honestly, I have been reflecting a lot, and I look back at my time and my friendship with her, and I feel like she used me, especially during like vulnerable moments. Like her.
Duh! Like, hello? That is what everyone has said from like the start, except for like the few people that are out there that are like, ooh, Alexis, give us more tea, give us more information on Amber. Like, what possible information could she have on Amber that would be new and exciting and fresh? She really doesn't have any, and the one that she did was doxing someone else, putting his shit on blast, and then being like, tee, look at Amber's not really a lesbian. Alexis, like, what the fuck? That is not your decision to make. And, like, do I think it's weird that someone is saying, I am 100% attracted to women and blah, 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 but I would date this guy and, you know, whatever. Maybe, but also, it's not my business to get into that. If she wants to label herself a lesbian and say she is only attracted to women plus maybe this one man, okay, fine. That's fine. I don't care. I do not care. You know, like, I think I'm more upset over this because it took me so long to really understand myself as a person and my sexuality and my identity, that hearing people talk about, like, ooh, like, why are you changing now? Blah, whatever. Like, people change, and this is dumb for Alexis to come out here and talk shit. Yeah, see, my cat knows what's up. Tell him, Jinxy. The crowd went silent. But it's so dumb to talk about someone else's sexuality. So dumb.
Having a friendship with me just gave her the chance to collect personal information just so she could exploit me later on. That is genuinely how it feels to me. Like, there were so many times where, like, I would send her a voice memo and I noticed that she would save it, and I'd be like, why did you save the voice memo? And she'd be like, no, I didn't. And I'd be like, but it says you did. But, like, that naive side of me and that side of me that wanted to trust her, in my brain, I was always like, well, maybe she is telling the truth. Maybe her phone really did glitch.
You two are you're two sides of the same coin. I swear to God. Like, y'all be manipulating each other until, like, 7 ways to Sunday. You guys are ridiculous. All you guys do, and all you guys have done, I think, and I, like, obviously Alexis, definitely, but I think Amber too, because of her track record, all of these two did was try and get information to hold on to use against the other person in case of an emergency. Like, break glass in case of an emergency. It's like some tweet or some Snapchat or some DM that one of them made. They're like, whoa, gotta do this, gotta expose the bestie. I think about my best friend. We have been best friends for years and years and years. Ain't no way I would be doing that stuff. I would not ever look at our conversations and be like, what can I use against her? And I know for a fact she does not do that to me either. In fact, if the two of us had a falling out, which will never happen, just so everyone is clear, I love my best friend very dearly, but, like, if the two of us had a falling out, those DMs would be deleted. They would be gone. There would be no evidence for anything, because that's what you do when someone is truly your friend. You delete the things that are personal and private, and you don't expose them. See, I'm telling you. She knows what's up too. It's just so stupid. They're two sides of the same coin. I'm sure Amber has shit that she kept in her photo gallery that are like Alexis exposing tweets or whatever. Like, these two are just the same person.
Maybe something really did happen. Maybe she really didn't save it. But it turns out she did. And it turns out that she is taking all the experiences that I lived off of YouTube that didn't affect her at all, I might add. All those experiences, she saved them almost like in files. It feels like, Jesus Christ. And she's using that for her benefit. And really, if you guys had to look at it from a different point of view, who was really the bad friend? Me or her? This whole thing.
Both of you both suck as friends. Like, let's be real, Amber. If you're gonna be totally honest with yourself, the two of you, you're both terrible. Alexis is terrible for literally using you just to gain notoriety and clout and whatever, because I do not think, except for maybe in the beginning, but I think that was more she really wanted to be in a relationship with you. But I do not think for a second that she truly wanted to be friends. And especially the second time around, that was not to be friends. That was to gather more intel. And Amber, we have seen the way you treat your quote unquote friends, your bestie Crystal, Beck after you broke up, you and Jade, when Jade literally had to tell you to stop contacting her. Eric and Ricky, Dana and Destiny. We see how you treated all your quote unquote friends. Not great. You're not a good friend. You're not a good person. So the two of you, really, you're both awful. I would never want to be friends with either of you. You're both manipulative queens, and that is not something I would ever want in a friendship. Please, I've dealt with it before. The gaslight gatekeep girl boss, dealt with it before. Do not want to deal with it again with two people I could not stand. You two, truly, peas in a pod.
Like, I should never have had to talk about this unless I wanted to. And I feel that way about a lot of things that have been said and shared. And I will continue keeping my silence. But the fact that Dalton was involved in this, it made me feel like heavy on my heart that like I needed to speak up. He's a good person, a great person, and he doesn't deserve to be like brought in this like hemisphere of just like vile poison. I'm gonna go back to not talking about Alexis because I feel much better when I do that. And she's gonna run a whole channel reflected around me. I'm gonna go ahead and call that obsession. Anyways, I'm gonna end this vlog. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Alrighty. Well, the takeaway from this is my cat screamed the entire time. Oh, she really had some opinions, some thoughts and opinions, and she's correct on all of them. But truly, they're the same person, her and Alexis. But I think in this one situation, Alexis is worse and in the wrong. I don't think they were ever truly friends. I think they always wanted to gather shit on each other. Or I should say, Alexis wanted to have the clout and the notoriety of being besties with Amber, and Amber wanted someone that they could just trauma dump on whenever they felt like it, or whenever she felt like it. So, and then obviously the second time around, that was like nope, that was intel gathering. They were both trying to get shit on each other. But my takeaway is, one, don't talk about other people's sexuality. Sexuality and gender and all that is fluid. Things change, things happen. People might realize something about themselves later on in life that they didn't really when they were younger, or they may expand upon what they already knew, or they may realize when they look back that things were different, that they were like, oh, it was there all along, but I was just dealing with compet or whatever, or I had to hide it really hard. Don't speak on people's sexuality. Using someone's private moments, like engaging in explicit phone conversations and acting like that is tea, I do not agree with that at all whatsoever. Like I said, unless this person was a minor or someone at risk, there is no reason to talk about it, and there is absolutely zero reason that this man's face had to be plastered all over the place. Weight Watchers, boo, tomato, tomato, tomato. It's not going to work. We already seen it a million times. I mean, if she proves me wrong, that'll be crazy. And last but not least, Alexis, get fucked. That's it for this video. Like I said, I think I said it in the beginning. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I recorded this like 3 times. I was just not satisfied with how I was sounding. I am going to try and do a reaction to her like super long live stream, but I'm going to break it up into parts, and I'm going to try to get onto the retro reacts with the Destiny era very shortly. But I thought this was an interesting one because I did not think I would agree with Amber, but I actually do in this situation, which is I don't know, the ice caps are melting, everything is on fire, and uh it has decided to rain and snow and be like 50 and -6 degrees all within like a day here. So I guess stranger things have happened. But yeah, that's it for me. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.